Hey, Shalom Yahweh, Hashem Yahweh Shai Barakathum to all the brothers of Israel. Shalom Yahweh Shamar, Thabah Hashem Yahweh Shai to the sisters. This is the ISUPK Las Vegas Tuesday Brotherhood class. We start at 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. Oh, so lucky. Let me see if it'll actually let me edit that in the middle. And today is the Tuesday Brotherhood class. Salakia for the title. I'm seeing if it'll let me update it now. But with that said, what we are going to be going over today is a continuation part 2 from last week. And last week, you know what? Turn on these fans. It is actually still kind of warm in here. Turn these fans on. Yeah. We're going to do a continuation from last week. Last week, we read the book of First Esdras, Second Esdras, the 6th chapter, I believe. Let's see.
Towards just you.
No. I mean, you can rotate it. If you only want it towards me, that's fine. I don't know if you want.
No, I'm not.
All right, then no sweat. No, Salaki. We read the first chapter of the book of Second Esdras. We read the first chapter. Basically, just going over what that chapter kind of goes over is the ways that Israel have moved the Most High God to wrath. And mind you as well, when you read over that first chapter in Second Esdras, it's a direct link to show. Yeah, just sit it still.
Sit it still?
Yeah, just sit it still and then put it on low. That's a direct link to let you know that the Apocrypha, these books that are in the Apocrypha, were actually removed from the original 1611 King James version. And sis, can you tell me how I'm even coming to that conclusion that these books are removed from the Bible from what we had read last week on Tuesday?
Because you can find references to it, to the stories of it.
Okay, where?
In the New and Old Testament.
In the New and the Old Testament, it all coincides. And mind you as well, that's exactly how the Bible works. What you'll find in the Old Testament is what you're basically going to find in the New Testament. The only thing that's going to be different is names and then places. But as far as the events and whatnot, it's basically the same all throughout. The transgressions that the Most High God, or like the transgressions that the Israelites had against the Most High God, you understand, is basically always been the same all throughout. You understand, where we forget our God and go to worship the other nations. And that's one thing that we had read in the book of First Esdras last week. So this week we're gonna read on to the 2nd chapter. You understand, and y'all gonna see. Let me see if it'll update that title. You guys are gonna see the brotherhood aspect that comes out of even in the Old Testament. You understand? Because Christ really came, when Christ came on the scene in the New Testament, Christ showed us how to live brotherhood. You understand? And the reason why he even had to show us how to live brotherhood was because we obviously didn't understand it during the times of the Old Testament. So Christ had to be sent to, walk that path of brotherhood to show us that it can be done according to the law. You understand? And you're going to see that with how, just through the kind of love that Esdras has for his people, with the kind of questions that he asks the angel about, basically his nation and whatnot and his people. You understand? Before we do get into that though, Salakia, I'm just gonna ask, just like every week, just like every class, that y'all make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to our Facebook and our YouTube page. You understand? Make sure that you do your part to spread this truth out to the four corners of the earth. You understand? It's important that we do our part to fish all of our Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, so-called, all of our brothers and sisters out of the world, so that they have an opportunity to, get themselves cleaned up and straightened out according to the Most High God. You understand? And the only way that they're going to be able to do that is if they come across these classes. You understand? All right. I'm just doing it for myself, and then we'll start with the class. All right. I know I have some notes written in here as well, and then we'll get it pushing. All right, so obviously what we're going to be starting off is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 2, verse 1. And then that's where we're going to start our class today. Mind you as well, if there's anybody that is online, feel free to ask any questions throughout, whether it pertains to the topic or any question that you have. I'll do my part to answer your question to my fullest ability scripturally. If I'm unable to do it myself, then I'll be sure to ask a mightier man than myself to get you the answer. We are not the Christian church. We do not tell you what just sounds good in our head and that's going to sound good to you. We are all about teaching nothing but the truth. You understand? We don't water it down. We don't sugarcoat it. You understand? We are only about just teaching the truth. You understand? All right. So we're going to go ahead and start. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 2, verse 1. Thus saith the Lord, I brought this people out of bondage, and I gave them my commandments by my servants, the prophets, whom they would not hear, but despise my counsels. Now, again, this is something that was, written in really all throughout the Old and the New Testament, right? Especially throughout the Old Testament, when the Most High God was really actually dealing with us, but we kept moving him to wrath. You understand? Like the Most High God always brought out the fact that, he was the one who brought us out of bondage. He was the one who gave us the law, statutes, and commandments, a way to actually live, and also so that we would have the ability to rule on this earth. But yet, time and time again, the prophets, the priests and prophets of the Most High God that the Most High God had appointed himself, we decided not to listen to the people that the Most High God had appointed. You understand? We wouldn't listen to him. So that's what that first verse is, breaking that down. You understand? Verse 2. Okay. So verse 2. The mother that bare them saith unto them, go your way, ye children, for I am a widow and forsaken. So, it's because at a certain point, this is basically saying that, because of at a certain point, we became a fatherless nation because we disobeyed not only our forefathers, but we had disobeyed the Most High God. And so because of that, our mothers basically had no covering. She had no head. You understand? And so because of that, now she's in a position where, she's basically like a widow, and she is forsaken, or she has been forgotten. You understand? So she's telling her children, man, go ahead and go your way. Like I'm basically all on my own. Like I've been forgotten and widow. You understand? Verse 3, I brought you up with gladness, but with sorrow and heaviness have I lost you. For ye have sinned before the Lord your God, and done that thing that is evil before him. And what is that thing that is evil before the Most High God? You want to take a shot? It's that simple. It's evil. If you're not following the law, statutes, and commandments, you are doing something evil unto the Most High God. Are you cold? Are you okay? All right. So like it. So, but again, verse 3 is basically, it's still that mother saying that same thing. You understand? About how her children, us, left away from the ways of our forefathers. So because of that, she has no covering. Does that make sense? Because, mind you, again, what does she follow up to say? But with sorrow and heaviness have I lost you, for ye have sinned before the Lord your God. We are lost because, just like what Christ said, that he has come back for no one but the lost sheep of the house of Israel, right? We're lost. We keep on losing our way from not only most importantly, from the Most High God, but also the ways of our forefathers that the Most High God had, given the law, statutes, and commandments to in the first place. We keep deterring from that path. You understand? We keep on getting lost. That's why until we get it right, we're going to be called the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Does that make sense? All right. And done that thing that is evil before him. And again, if you're not following the law, statutes, and commandments, you are doing evil. There is no stepping a little bit to the left. There's no stepping a little bit to the right. It's straight and narrow, and only that one path. You understand? That path of righteousness is a straight and narrow path. You understand? So if you're doing anything else but the law, statutes, and commandments, then you're doing something. You are doing an evil thing to the Most High God. So like you. Verse 4. But what shall I do unto you? I am a widow and forsaken. Go your way, O my children, and ask mercy of the Lord. She's basically saying, man, I can't do nothing for you. It's out of my hands. You understand? I don't have a head. I don't have that covering of a husband being over me to even help show you the way. But it's up to you as that child that you need to go and ask the Most High God for that mercy, for forgiveness. You understand? Verse 5. As for me, O Father, I call upon thee for a witness over the mother of these children, which would not keep my covenant. So this mother is, basically going in saying that, hey, as the witness, so like, let me make sure I read this right. I call upon thee for a witness over the mother. So basically, she's calling upon the Most High God. Like, you saw that I was trying to do my part. You understand? I was following according to the covenant that, I have with, with you. You understand? That these children weren't going to follow that same covenant under her. You understand? Verse 6. That thou bring them to confusion and their mother to a spoil, that there may be no offspring of them. Right? Hold on, Salaki. For as for me, O Father, I call upon thee for a witness over the mother of these children, which would not keep my covenant, that thou bring them to confusion and their mother to a spoil, that there may be no offspring of them. Let them be scattered abroad among the heathen. Let their names be put out of the earth, for they have despised my covenant. Woe be unto them, Assur, Assur, thou that hidest the unrighteous in thee, O thou wicked people. Remember what I did unto Sodom and Gomorrah. Now, I read them 3 verses right there, but what's important about, what do you get out of what should stand out from them 3 verses, though? From 5 to the end of 8.
be like what would happen, what's gonna happen because we went against the Most High? Like, would that stand out?
Okay, give me more though. Like, would you said what's gonna happen because
like for instance, that's where we're at now, right? We're oppressed because we didn't follow the law. Basically, is that what stands out from here as well? Is that basically what it's talking about, right?
Wait, say that again. Salakia?
No, like for instance, now the reason why we're oppressed is because we didn't follow the laws like we were supposed to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would that be part of this? Why it stands out? Because it's basically talking about the same thing. Like because we transgressed the law, that's basically what's gonna happen.
So you're saying that this is a prophecy of us being oppressed in the future for?
I'm just saying like it goes hand in hand. I don't know if it's a prophecy or not, but I say it stands out because that's what we're going through now, basically. I don't know.
Okay, I see what you're saying. I mean, yes. What else would stand out though? I'm actually trying to see if I can find the exact verse.
Well, another thing that stands out is what's mentioned about what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah.
Okay, so what happened in Sodom and Gomorrah? What else? Now, one thing as well, why do you think that Sodom and Gomorrah is even being brought up?
To show what basically the type of like the power that the Most High has, like, or not the power. How to explain it? Like, you know, when you get like when you're a kid and you're you're being punished, like your parents discipline you in a certain way.
Okay.
Like in the aspect of like if you get to a certain point, he doesn't like that's where he would go basically. I don't know how to get that.
Oh, like almost like saying, okay, you remember that one time you got in trouble? You want to keep doing this?
Yeah,
you get your ass beat again like that?
Yeah, in a sense, like.
Okay, so in what sense?
In the sense of like, you know, we keep being wicked people, we will go through the same thing.
There you go. So in other words, the Most High God is just like in the first chapter. The Most High God told Esdras to tell the people, remember, start to remember what the Most High God did for you and your forefathers. You understand? And because you even forgot about that in the first place, the Most High God is pissed off. And that's why they're being oppressed right here. Because, you go back into the first chapter, I believe it's in the third verse. They are captive in the land of Medes in the reign of Artaxerxes, king of the Persians. You understand? So they are in captivity at that time. So to your point, like, yeah, you correct. But one thing that I wanted you to bring out in particular was, that I was hoping that would really stand out to you in particular, was the fact that it says that we would be spread out to the four corners. What does it say exactly? Let them be scattered among the heathen. Let their names be put out of the earth, for they have despised my covenant. So let their names be put out of the earth. Whose name has been put out of the earth? You are Israelite, but you are so-called Mexican. Most of your people do not know that they are Israelites. Their name has been put out of the earth. I come from the tribe of Judah, but we think we niggers and Negroes and African American and Afro American. We think we all sorts of different freaking names, except for the fact that first and foremost, we Israel, just like Issachar. But we forget that we from the tribe of Judah, of Israel, right? Our name has been put out of the earth. And mind you as well, where can you not find a so-called black man? Where can you not find a so-called Mexican man? Where can you not find any of the 12 tribes of Israel? Because doesn't our God say that we would be scattered to the four corners of the earth? Now, mind you as well, because we are sticking on the theme as well that the Apocrypha goes hand in hand with what is written in the Old and New Testament, right? Go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse. Oh, so lucky, I lost it. There it is. Chapter 28, verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all the people. Hold on. What did we just read? What did we just read here? Verse 7. Let them be scattered abroad among the heathen. Now, everybody that is not Israel, what are they considered? They're considered heathens. All the other people are considered heathens, right? From the one, so like going back to Deuteronomy 28 and 64, and the Lord shall scatter thee among all the people from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. Now, when has that happened? When has it happened that God's chosen people would be scattered to the four corners of the earth and worship wood and or stone?
He's been like that, right?
Essentially, because we was worshiping other gods in the time of Ezra, right? We read that in the first chapter, that we was having that same issue, right? When's another time?
Now as well.
Okay, so now, what are we worshiping now? What is the wood?
The cross.
It's the cross. What's the stone?
Like those, is it Muslims? Where they worship
The Kaaba stone.
The Kaaba stone. Yeah.
The Kaaba stone. You understand? You see how the two of them match up and go together? And mind you as well, who came first, Moses or Esdras? Moses. Moses came before Esdras. So essentially, Esdras read from this as well and knew about what Moses had wrote, what the Most High God had told Moses to write. You understand? And that's just one of the very many precepts about, the four corners of the earth and just how, this book precepts with other books in, throughout the Bible. You understand? Moving on. Verse 9, whose land lieth in clods of pitch and heaps of ashes. Even so also will I do unto them that hear me not, saith the Almighty Lord. Now, the Most High God is saying right there that those that won't listen to him are going to just basically be clods of pitch and heaps of ashes. What's that sound like? Because what happened to Sodom and Gomorrah? Got glassed over, burnt it up, right? So now Sodom and Gomorrah is in the past, but right now, the Most High God said, even so also will I do unto them that hear me not, saith the Almighty Lord. So if you don't hear him today, what does that mean for you? If you don't listen to the Most High God today, what does that mean for you? Well, according to the scripture, it says that you will lie in clods of pitch and heaps of ashes. But how would you translate that to today's understanding?
You'll be destroyed.
You'll be destroyed. How?
You could say death.
You said death?
I say you could say death.
What about that thermonuclear warfare that's coming this way?
Oh, the World War III?
World War III, the thermonuclear warfare. Would you what you think that when them nukes, start popping off, that you just gonna die and I don't know, still be flesh? No, all of this is going to burn to ash. Just like what this says, be in clods of pitch and heaps of ash. For those that don't listen to the Most High God, that is your fate. Fix this. Yeah, fix that. Have your mother help you.
Here come.
You understand? Verse 10. Thus saith the Lord unto Esdras, tell my people that I will give them the kingdom of Jerusalem, which I have given unto Israel, that their glory also will I have, Salaki, their glory also will I take unto me, and give these the everlasting tabernacles, which I have prepared for them. They shall have the tree of life for an ointment of sweet savor. They shall neither labor nor be weary. Man, so now the Most High God, like in the first chapter, Most High God was going about why he was upset, the things that he was going to do to us because of him being upset. You understand? Commanding Esdras to make us remember all of these things. And mind you, because the Most High God loves Israelites so doggone much, he's following up with telling Esdras, he said, also tell them this. After you tell them all these things that I did for them and their forefathers, that I will give them this kingdom of heaven. Where, what does it say? They shall have the tree of life. Also, like it, their glory also will I take unto me. So Most High God's going to take our glory and give these the everlasting tabernacles, which I have prepared for them. These everlasting houses, these everlasting banners. You understand? Where the Israelites we will always be here. You understand? They shall have the tree of life for an ointment of sweet savor. They shall neither labor nor be weary. That sounds like the kingdom of heaven to me so far, especially to what you read in the New Testament, right? Verse 13, go and ye shall receive. Pray for a few days unto you, that they may be shortened. The kingdom is already prepared for you. Watch. Verse 14, take heaven and earth to witness, for I have broken the evil in pieces and created the good, for I live, saith the Lord. Mother, embrace thy children and bring them up with gladness. Make their feet as fast as a pillar, for I have chosen thee, saith the Lord. So, he telling the women right there, teach your children to stand fast, to be prepared to stand on this truth. You understand? Because in doing so, they'll be able to inherit this kingdom of heaven. Right? Verse 16, and those that be dead will I raise up again from their places and bring them out of the graves. For I have known my name is it Salaki. For I have known my name in Israel. Now, question about verse 16. Is he talking about the state of Israel? The land of Israel? Or what does he mean by for I have known my name in Israel?
I don't know what the second part means, so I would guess that it's referring to like the state that you're in.
The state that you're in?
Or is it literally talking about literal death, like somebody who's literally dead? Like 16 where it says that.
Oh, I wasn't talking. Okay, so you actually have a question about that. You asking about 16.
Oh yeah, like is it literally like I am assuming? Well, honestly, when I read this, I'm assuming it's not literal that like literal raising of someone from the dead. It's like the state you're in, or am I wrong?
Why?
I mean, I'm confused on that part. I don't know.
Why would it be any different than being literally raised up out of the dead, like literally raised up out of the grave, or not any different? Why wouldn't that be what is actually meant?
I'm not sure. I just really didn't understand.
Now think about it. So it says, "And those that be dead will I raise up again from their places and bring them out of the graves. For I have known my name in Israel." I'm trying to think how to walk you to the answer without like giving you the answer. Let's see. Create good for live. Children how do you think? Damn, I don't really know how to answer or ask the question without just giving you the answer. So I guess I just gotta give you the answer. Okay, those that be dead will I raise up from their places and bring them out of the graves. For I have known my name is Israel, right? Or it's like in Israel. So the Most High God knows His name in Israel. So in Israel, right? Stay focused on that first. That last part, and then we'll get the answer to the first portion of that verse. For I have known my name in Israel. What does that mean? The land of Israel? The state of Israel?
You said for the state. Okay.
I'm asking. For all you know, the ones that I asked might not even be the answer at all. There might be something I'm missing out. I am missing.
Could it be like this says, "For I have known my name in Israel"? Like, for instance, like if he knows for those of us that actually like believe in the Most High, like that he, like he knows that, or I don't even know if that makes any sense.
You're coming to it.
I just don't know how to explain it. Like basically, like I don't even know how to put it, like explain that. I just like because he's saying I have known my name in Israel. Would that be like for us? Like I'm saying, like for us who really do believe in the Most High and follow the laws.
Who's us?
Israelites.
So what is Israel in reference to right there? What is Israel in reference to right there?
It's referring to Israelites in the truth.
Okay, so Israelites. He knows the family of Israel. The Most High God, He knows His name in Israelites. So, like to what you're saying, for those of us that actually believe, calm down with the chair. For those of like to what you were saying, for those of us that actually do believe, that actually do follow the law, statutes, commandments, that are obedient, that praise the Most High God, we are the ones that know His name and let it be known that we know God. Like, does that make sense?
Okay.
So now let's backtrack to the beginning of the verse to answer your question. Now that we finally answered my question.
Okay.
And those that be dead will I raise up again from their places and bring them out of the graves. For I have known my name in Israel. So who do you think that is? What do you think? You're going to answer your own question.
I mean, he's referring to Israelites.
Okay. No, right. He's speaking to Israelites, but is it a literal grave? Is it literally raising up the dead? And if so, how?
Okay, so since we broke down the other part, I would say then yes, it's literally talking.
Okay, how?
Because for instance, how in the king or like when we get, is it regeneration? Like when we live again.
Yes, that's exactly it.
Okay.
It's referring to regeneration.
Okay.
Sit still. Yes, it's referring to regeneration.
Okay.
Okay, because and those that be dead will I raise up again from their places and bring them out of the graves. For I have known my name in Israel. So it's basically the most high God is saying that he's gonna bring back to life those that remembered his name. Moses is going to walk the earth again. Moses probably walking the earth right now. You understand? King David probably walking the earth right now. Mind you, I'm saying probably. You understand? Mind you as well, just as a quick little side note disclaimer, in ISUPK, we do not do that BS where I say, oh, in my past life, I was King Solomon. I was this individual and I can find myself. And man, I was probably somebody who cleaned up the pig shit in the farm, to be honest. Like that's probably who I was. I highly doubt I was somebody great in the scripture, like Salaki. Because first, that's the thing is you hear all these doggone Israelites where, I just feel it in my spirit. I feel it in my bones that I was this great, man. I was Elijah. I was John. I was all these, there's somebody great all the time that is written in the Bible. But nobody was nobody was a garbage man that nobody knew about at that time. Shit, that was probably me. To be honest, that was probably me. You understand? But with that being said, though, the point is that we were once on the earth then, praising the Most High God, and we're going to do it again. And we are doing it again. In ISUPK, we're doing it again. You understand? The ISUPK was on the earth before, and here we are again. You understand? Being the only ones to know the name of the Most High God, and the Most High God knows that we know him. Right? And how does he know that we know him? Because we follow the law, statutes, commandments. That's simple. You understand? Verse 17. Fear not, thou mother of the children, for I have chosen thee, saith the Lord. For thy help will I send my servants, Isai and Jeremy, after whose counsel I have sanctified and prepared for thee 12 trees laden with diverse fruits, and as many fountains flowing with milk and honey, and seven mighty mountains, whereupon there grow roses and lilies, whereby I will fill thy children with joy. Do right to the widow, judge for the fatherless. So do right to the widow, judge for the fatherless, give to the poor, defend the orphan, clothe the naked. Does anybody know where that appears? again? The New Testament. This, matter of fact, let's precept. Let's see here. Let's see here. Pull it for y'all real quick. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 82, verse 3. Defend the cause of the weak and fatherless. Maintain the rights of the poor and oppressed. Hold on, so Locky. That's a different version. There we go, King James version. Defend the poor and fatherless, and do justice to the afflicted and needy. You understand? But I believe there is another one that I want to find, because it also speaks about the widow. Let me see. Was Isaiah 1:17? Oh, Isaiah 1:17. Learn to do well, seek judgment, relieve the oppressed, judge the fatherless, and plead for the widow. He's saying the same thing over and over. That's a precept upon the precept. You understand? Now, one reason why I think it's very important that we understand that these precepts coincide with the apocryphal books is because there are some goofies out there that really believe that the apocrypha doesn't go with, with the rest of the Bible. You understand? In fact, the point is that with the apocrypha, and over time, throughout the course of my classes that I teach, Lord allow, we'll get through all of the apocrypha at some time. That's not the literal agenda right now, but maybe we'll do some classes like that where we'll just keep on doing, through the books, through the chapters and whatnot, and y'all be able to see that the Holy Bible, you understand, the Bible is actually completed when you read through the apocryphal books. You understand? It helps reconnect all of the stories. You understand? Because mind you as well, these apocryphal books is removed records. It's removed history. It's removed stories. You understand? So the apocryphal, it's very important for y'all to understand that the apocryphal books, just how important they are to be in the Bible. You understand? All right, so like you. Verse 21, heal the broken and the weak. Laugh not a lame man to scorn. Defend the maimed, and let the blind man come into the sight of my clearness. Keep the old and young within thy walls. Wheresoever thou findest the dead, take them and bury them, and I will give thee the first place in my resurrection. Abide still, O my people, and take thy rest, for thy quietness shall come. Now, again, this is the Most High God just telling us how we should be. And with him telling us how should we be, what do you get out of that? How is the Most High God telling Esdras to tell the people how to act? What should you get out of them verses?
Most time want to be righteous? I'm not sure.
Okay, righteous. I mean, yeah, but not what I'm looking for. I need more than that. And you know the answer. Read what we just read. What we just stopped at verse 24. So from 20 to 24.
I mean, it sounds like yeah, I would say righteous, like selfless. Honestly,
Okay.
it sounds more like to be selfless because if you're being selfless, you would do like 21 or in general where it says do right to the widow, just the fatherless, and then heal the broken and weak and all that kind of stuff. You would do that kind of stuff out of, if you're being selfless, right?
Okay. And you're correct, but that's not the answer I'm looking for. You walk into it. This is being selfless is part of the answer I'm looking for. Being righteous is part of the answer I'm looking for. Is it Matthew 15? Is it 15 and 24?
I would say follow the laws, but
No, it's not 15 and 24. What is it? Is it Matthew 10? Okay. It's part of following law, statutes, and commandments. Of course. I'm trying to think. Because there's actually a precept in the New Testament for this.
okay, would it be to be brotherly?
Give yourself a hand.
Okay.
It's being brotherly. It's being brotherly, being sisterly. That's exactly it. Because when you're being selfless, you're being brotherly. Because you're not worried about your well-being. You making sure that that brother, that sister is okay. That brother, that young brother right there that doesn't have a father, that you step into, well, not you, but me as a man, I step into, to give him some sort of father figure, some sort of a guidance. And that guidance is, bringing him to the law, statutes, and commandments. You understand? Okay, that is one of them, but I don't want the one where he says thy neighbor. Hold on, so lucky. You know what? We'll just read that one for right now. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 22, verses 36 to 40. Master, which is the great commandment in the law? Verse 37. Yahushua said unto him, thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. Verse 39. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang the law and the prophets. Now, this is Christ. That was Christ speaking right there. And what he just said was so damn heavy, especially to what we just read in 2nd Esdras. You understand? He said, Thou shalt love thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind. This is the first and great commandment. So the first greatest commandment is to love the Most High God and to obey the Most High God with every part of your being. You understand? Now, then he follows up and says in verse 39, and the second is like unto it. What do you think he means by it is like unto it?
It's like it.
Okay, it's like it. How is it like it though? How is the second verse? How is the second greatest commandment like the first greatest commandment? Because I mean, these are two different levels of commandments, but Christ is saying that they're actually like each other. How? How so? Because then he follows up to say, "Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself."
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Can I answer? Can I get the verse?
This is Matthew. Right now we're at Matthew 22, 36 to 40.
Maybe I look at it.
Yeah, no sweat. Oh, go ahead. Take your time.
Well, would it be because if you love the Most High, you'd also that's the same type of love you'd have for a brother because I don't know how to explain it.
Mm.
Does that make sense?
Okay. Says, "Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind." Right? So when you do that, you are obeying the Most High God, right? But in the same time, what also are you doing? When you love the Most High God with all thy mind, body, and soul. Oh, no. I'm sorry. Why do you do that?
Why do you love them?
Why do you love the Most High God?
Actually, because you love yourself. I don't know.
No, that's actually that's where you should be going with it. You love yourself. And because you love yourself, what else do you love?
Your brothers and sisters. Well,
We're not there yet. We're not there yet.
well, because you love yourself, you love the Most High, right? Is that
Okay, so you love the Most High because you love yourself.
Mhm.
You love yourself because you love what? Well, I guess I think the order should actually be: you love yourself, you love the Most High. No. What do you love and what do you want? And because you love it and you want it, you decide to love the Most High God and obey the Most High God. Because what does He give you?
Right? I don't
Life. You love life. That's simple. It's that simple. So because you love the Most High God, or because you love life, you love the Most High God, and because you love the Most High God, you love yourself. So now it goes into say, and the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. How is it that is the same? Why is that like loving the Most High God? And I guess technically you can give me a couple different answers with this one.
Because when it's referring to neighbor, it's referring to your brother and sister, right? Like Israel in general.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't know. Because I know there's precept. I don't know if there's a few, but I know there's a precept where it talks about, um, like, like how they coincide, right? Like the most, like the basically how you treat them all. Oh, no, is that how it goes? How you treat the love that you have for your brother. The same. It's kind of like the same.
The mercy that you give your brother is the mercy that you get from the Most High.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Would it be? Yeah. See, I'm not too sure about the second part.
Okay, I mean, ain't no sweat. Just for time's sake. So the reason why the second is just like the second greatest commandment is just like the first greatest commandment is because all of the commandments go, everything that the Most High God basically tells you to do is love your brother, love your people. That's, if you read through all of the law, statutes, and commandments, they all point in the direction of loving your people, loving your brothers and sisters. Because obviously you're going to love yourself. You're going to take care of yourself. You're going to make sure that you fed. You're going to make sure that you have nice things. You understand the things that you like. But the Most High God basically says, listen, make sure that you are selfless enough that you might have nice things for yourself, but make sure that orphan has nice things. Love him enough as if that was you as that orphan. What would you want somebody in your position to do for you that's in that as an orphan? When they can give you something, can at least just give you guidance. Shouldn't you at least just give them guidance? Does that make sense? So, and then on top of that, I mean, for this is, I'm just paraphrasing. For this is the duty of man that we fear God and love him, and we keep his commandments. So if that's the whole our entire duty, then what is part of that duty? To love life, because following the law, statutes, commandments is life. And part of following the law, statutes, commandments is loving your brother like yourself. You understand? So then when you go through all of this, 20 to 23, you are showing that you are, first of all, you being obedient to the Most High God, but you giving that brotherhood that is commanded of you to have in the first place, that brotherhood or that sisterhood that you are commanded to have in the first place. Be ready to help your brother and sister in need, whether it's a widow, it's an orphan, It's the fatherless, the motherless. You understand what I'm saying? Those that can't clothe themselves, that can feed themselves. You understand? Be prepared to be there for them. Because for one reason being as well, because for all you know, everything that you have today will be taken away from you tomorrow, and you in they shoes with nothing. The Most High God can do that if he just so pleases. You understand? All right, moving on. You understand that though, right? You get that now? All right, Most High Christ. Verse 25. Yeah, verse 25. Nourish thy children, O thou good nurse. Establish their feet. So, nourish your children. How do you nourish your children? That nourishment of life. You understand? Establish their feet. Nourish them so that they, like your son, for example, nourish him. You teach him this word that's good for his life. It'll help preserve his life. Establish his feet so that as he gets this these nutrients, this this word that's good for his life, that will allow him to live a long life, he'll stand on it firmly when it's his time to finally learn for himself. And you get what I'm saying? All right, Most High Christ. Verse 26. As for the servants whom I have given thee, there shall not one of them perish, for I will require them from among thy number. Be not wary. I believe that's pretty cut and dry. From those that the Most High God, the priests and the prophets that the Most High God appoints, they will not perish. You understand? Verse 27. Be not wary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. That sounds just like when we was delivered out of Egypt. And then, mind you, as well, in the New Testament, what is that in? Is that Hebrews 11:3? I'm gonna pull that real quick. I believe it's Hebrews 11:3. Let's see. No, that's not it. Where is it at? I can't remember right now. I'll bring that one out again later. But where were we at? We were at verse 27. Be not wary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. I know how to find that one. There it is. See? Now this is Matthew chapter 24, verse 6. You got it? All right. This is the book of Matthew chapter 24, verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Oh, hold on now. I needed more than that. For nation shall rise against nation. Matter of fact, let me just pull it out of mine. I don't even like reading that like that. What did I say? 24 and 6? Okay. All right. There we go. Verse 7. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these are the beginning of sorrows. Now, mind you, this is the beginning of sorrows, right? Right here is talking about there's going to be a time. It is saying, be not wary, for when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh. Trouble and heaviness. There's going to be a lot of heavy crap. There's earthquakes destroying cities. There's wars that are going to be going on, pestilence, famine, disease. You understand? Saying, I'm trying to see where he says. Oh, yeah, so we'll go down to 13, right? Yeah, we'll read it down to 13. So even Christ speaks about this as well, because mind you as well, Christ read the apocryphal books. Christ read the book of 2nd Ezra like we are reading today. You understand? Matthew 24:9. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. And many false prophets shall rise, and shall deceive many. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Verse 13. But he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. So mind you, when you read what we just read in verse 27, be not wary. You match that up with where Christ just said in verse 13, Matthew 24:13, but he that shall endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. So none of this shall faze us that we just read in Matthew 24:6-12. Why? Ezra says, be not wary. Don't be afraid. Be not weary. For when the day of trouble and heaviness cometh, others shall weep and be sorrowful. Because all these other nations are going to be killing each other. All these other nations are going to be killing each other, at each other's throats, destroying each other, being destroyed by the Most High God, by COVID and the lack of food and, the lack of medicine because of these diseases, and everything is coming their way, right? Others shall weep and be sorrowful, but thou shalt be merry and have abundance. Now, why should we be merry and have abundance? Why should we be happy and have a lot? Go ahead. Because we're following the law, yes. But I mean, yeah, you're right. But why is it that we're going to be happy? I guess that's what the question I wanted to ask. Why is it that we're going to be merry and have abundance? That's what my question is.
Well, why are we going to be happy?
Yes.
Well, because we're not going to be oppressed, or we're not going to be dying. Like, we're not going to be in the state that everyone else is in.
No, exactly. It's going to be, the Most High God is going to be destroying everyone else around us. Mind you as well, for us. Right? I keep losing my doggone place. Verse 28. There we go. Verse 28. The heathen shall envy thee, but they shall be able to do nothing against thee, saith the Lord. So we start doing what we're supposed to be doing, which is following the law, statutes, and commandments, even in the end. I mean, hell, we already know that the heathen envies us now. They want to be us now, right? I had seen a picture I think it was on Facebook the other day. Y'all know that there is in Vietnam, there's these Vietnamese people who, what their swag is like our cholo, the little cholo look that the Ishkarites do. With, the little white t-shirt with the button up, only get the top button. You know what I'm saying? And then, got the cat, the khaki dickies with the long white tube socks and some chucks tatted up. And they slick. Look, when I first looked at them, I thought they was Ishkarites. Nah. No, they were some heathen ass Asians trying to be like us, trying to cop our style. Go ahead.
You find a lot of that though in California too, though.
With the Asians? Mm-hmm. I you know what? I believe you. I didn't know that, but I believe you.
Like the rockabilly have out here, every time they would come out here from California,
Mhm.
you just see them everywhere. Like you would see it more prominent, like really bad.
Oh, the Asians try to jump on the rockabilly as well.
Oh yeah, real bad. But you'll see like that cholo, that cholo attire culture or whatever.
Right.
It's really hard.
Really?
Yeah, really hard. And like it's not even funny. Like it's really prominent out there.
And see, and we at the end, but we still get into like really opening that door of the end. You understand? And yet they still envious of us. We're not even at the part of the end where we start to really rise up. You understand? Where they really start going against each other at each other's necks, so that we can, as they're at each other's necks and killing each other and hating on each other and putting each other down, that just puts us higher and higher up on the pedestal.
I was gonna say, what's crazy to me is how hard it is, how hard they want to steal the way that you look, but they don't want to go through the same things you were going through. Like,
oh, of course.
Like, of course, you don't want to be oppressed like us, but you want to dress like us. Like, I don't.
No, of course. Because mind you, and what's funny about that is they'll say that everybody had their time of slavery and whatnot. Like the Asians, yeah, they was brought over here. Supposedly there was concentration camps, and here in America during World War II for the Orientals, and then they were forced to build some of the railroads. But you know what happened with that, and why it was so short-lived and not really common practice or not common practice, but commonly taught. It's because it was just such a short period of time, and the truth of why it was a short period of time, it puts them in a bad light. For one, they kept getting sick while they were over here, so they couldn't even handle being over here. But then two, they weren't good workers. They were lazy. Because I think it probably happened for about like 10, 15 years, something like that. They helped with the railroads. Then they got rid of them and brought Mexicans in. Brought the so-called Mexicans, brought the Israelites in to finish up the railroads. And then, of course, kept them here to keep on, building up the rest of America. But you see what I'm saying? They'll talk about the Asians will talk about the oppression that they have been gone through, but they won't give you the full shed of light. It's like, man, y'all weren't even fully oppressed. Because it's like, let a nigga be lazy. Oh no, you getting your ass whooped and you still gonna get the job done. No, y'all got switched out. We can't get switched out because, mind you, there's nobody better than us, first and foremost. But your point is an excellent point. Then, mind you, as well, ain't nobody can say that they got their land stolen. What China today is over there, crying about the fact that Taiwan, they want to take Taiwan back into the China Confederacy or whatever the hell they call, to be part of Chinese territory again. But I mean, y'all still have your land though. You still have a place to call yours. You just want a couple pieces back. Okay, cool. I can understand that, but not on the level of the fact that my Gadite brothers and sisters, or even my Israelite brothers and sisters, Mexico, you look at the size of Mexico today into comparison to what it originally was, it's ridiculous. Because you take all the way from Oregon down to Oregon down to California, New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, all of that, Texas, all of that, all the way down into Mexico. And all that's been taken away. Then, mind you, as well, Canada and the rest of North America, that was all Gadite territory. But I mean, when did that happen to white people? When did that happen? Slovakia. When did that happen to the colonizer? When did that happen to the so-called Asian man? When did that happen to the so-called African man? They all still have their land, or the East Indian man. When did that happen to them? Or the Japanese? When did that happen to them? Never. But to your point, which is an excellent point, they want to talk about their oppression and then also, still our life, but they don't, or still our culture, but they don't want to really be a part of the culture. They just want to look like the culture. You understand? You had your hand up?
Oh, I was just looking at the timeline that how you were talking about. So they were basically only labor workers or whatever for like 5 years.
Oh, it was 5 years.
Yeah.
Salaki, I gave y'all the wrong time. I gave them too much credit. I said 15.
Because it said
it's a third of that.
Because that's what it said right here is that from 1863 to 1869.
I was in the 1860s. Okay, so
from the Chinese workers that came out here for the transcontinental railroad. Yeah.
No, I do know that there's like some sort of history as well during the time of World War II in the 1940s. I think it actually it might have been before World War II started in the 1930s, and then kind of went into the 1940s, possibly the 1950s. And I could be wrong, but they had supposedly there was concentration camps all throughout, especially like in the Bay Area of California, and then they were forced to do some sort of laborers work or whatever, but it wasn't even for that long. But what you brought out about the 5 years in 1860, wasn't slavery still in effect?
It even says here, from the point you said, they were deemed too weak for the dangerous, strenuous job.
No, hold on. Also, say that one more time. Say it loud. Say it loud with some Iscariot pride. Now, I'm not saying in the aspect that it was a good thing that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans were put into slavery chains, but this lets you know that we did it for 500 years. We've had these people have their knees on the back of our necks. But yet, what did it say about the Asian man being in slavery for 5 years? Go ahead.
We're deemed too weak for the dangerous, strenuous job of building the railroad east from California.
Ain't that something? Asians were too weak for the dangerous and strenuous labor that was required to build some railroads in East. You said Eastern California? In east of California. And that caught them a break.
But
go ahead.
Didn't they still even, because you know how they what's that when they pay you back for the things that they've done to you?
Reparations?
Yeah, didn't they still get some type of something? And
isn't there a Chinatown in almost every city?
And that's what literally I was just thinking. And even if Vietnamese, there's so many nail shops, like hair shops, they have everything. And that's why I'm like, it's like, yeah, the 5 years maybe that you were going through it,
but you're
striving now, like you have things. It's not like,
well, peep this. Look at the fact that after we were released from slavery, how we had the Black Wall Street. I can never. What is it? Is it Seneca Village in New York? I believe it's called Seneca Village. That is now called that got torn down to become Central Park, or is it the Big Apple? I think it's Central Park in New York. One of the two. And this is 30 years, 30, 40 years after slavery was abolished. And we built these great economically lucrative cities, but got torn down because we did it too well, right? But to your point, and mind you, we 400 years of slavery, not allowed to have our own city, can't build our own stuff, right? We fought wars for this country. Not even just fought, won wars for this entire earth, World War I and II, right? But yet we can't even have We can't even build our own cities and own towns and just flourish amongst ourselves. But yet Chinatown, the Vietnamese, mind you as well, aren't we kind of at a Cold War right now with the Chinese? Didn't we go to war with the Vietnamese? It's a whole lot like with these doggone Afghanis, where we went into war. I fought in the war with the Afghanis, but yet when the war ends, what do? Hey, y'all can come over. I know we got COVID-19 going on. I know we got a very strict immigration laws here in America, but y'all can just come on over without a green card and without any type of vaccination and whatnot. We got Airbnbs ready for you. We've got all sorts of startup programs for you and your family to get ready to start your own life here in America. Thank you for, I don't know. But yet we can't even build our own infrastructure. We can't build our own towns just to be on our own. Y'all got to think about that. You understand? And how you know you don't think about that? Because a lot of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans will sit there and talk about, oh yeah, I love my people, this, that, and the other. But yet, do you do right to the widow, judge for the fatherless, give to the poor, defend the orphan, clothe the naked? Now, mind you as well, like I said before, the reason why we're going to be reading, I believe we're going to go to chapter 4 is the objective, Lord allow. So the next 2 more classes, we're going to be reading, the book of 2nd Esdras. You're going to see the brotherhood that Esdras had for his people. And the crazy part is what you're going to realize as well, in the midst of it, is Esdras is pretty much the representation of the ISUPK, because he was few, just like the ISUPK, and the many didn't want to hear us because they wanted to do what they wanted to do. Y'all want to be stiff-necked and love your oppressors, love the colonizers, love those that want you to watch these Afghani terrorists come into the country that you built without a green card, without vaccine, without any type of security clearance. There was never a security clearance profiled on Middle Eastern people from the time of 9/11. Actually, you can go back to, the wars began with them, in the Gulf Wars, and that was in the 70s, the 80s, possibly the 90s? I know Desert Storm was in the 90s. That's war with the Middle East. But yet, here we are, 2021. Let's put all that aside. The past is in the past. Just don't you forget that you nothing but a nigger and a spit and a savage. Don't you forget that. But the rest of history, we're going to forget that. We're going to forget about the atrocities that the white man has done. But we're going to remember the atrocities that happened against the white man. You understand where I'm going with this? I pray y'all understand. I pray y'all understand the frustration and the anger that all of the brothers and sisters in the ISUPK have against the world. If you are in the world, we are angry with you. Because you know what? Our own brothers and sisters are in there partaking. They are in the world. Some of y'all are in the world contributing to keeping our people in the world. Look at TD Jakes. TD Jakes ain't doing nothing to help his people. He's only doing what he can to help serve or to help the people he serves, just because he gets a crumb. He gets only a bit, which, mind you as well, they got him on a very thin line, because at any given time, let TD Jakes do something that the white man don't like. Let him do one thing. Let him actually speak the truth about who the so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans really are. Let him actually speak about the fact that they are the chosen people of the Most High God. Not only will he lose all his money, all his material, all his materialistic belongings. But he will disappear on the face of the earth. They will lock his ass up. You won't hear not a doggone whisper about TD Jakes. And he knows it. He knows it. And that's if they just don't kill him. And he knows it. So he keeps on playing the game. It's to the point where TD Jakes knows he's so far in the game that there is no way out unless he's ready to die. His lust is too great in this life that he ain't gonna do it. You understand? I pray y'all do understand. Because here in the ISUPK, the men of the Lord, we come into the ISUPK because we're already ready to give up our lives for our brothers and sisters. You understand? We are ready to do right to the widow, judge for the fatherless, give to the poor, defend the orphan, clothe the naked, heal the broken and the weak, laugh not a lame man to scorn, defend the maimed, and let the blind man come into the sight of the Most High God's clearness. There is brotherhood. Don't move again. There is brotherhood in these chapters. You understand? There's brotherhood, great brotherhood throughout this Bible. This whole Bible, from cover to cover, with the apocryphal books included, teaches you how to have great brotherhood. I pray y'all understand. Did you have anything else? All right, no sweat. Be not weary. 27, 20, 29. So like you for the sidetrack. Verse 29. My hand shall cover thee, so that thy children shall not see hell. Shall not see hell. You know what? The Most High God covers you so that this young one right here doesn't have to see hell, doesn't have to see the atrocities, the terrible things of being in the world as a black man. You know, he's from the tribe of Simeon, correct? He's Dominican. He doesn't have to deal with the same things that his fellow Dominican brothers and sisters have to go through, because he's here in the ISUPK as a young man. Give the Lord a hand, first and foremost. Give the Lord a hand. You know, out there, you saved his life coming into here. You understand? Verse 30, be joyful, O thou mother, with thy children, for I will deliver thee, saith the Lord. Remember thy children that sleep, for I shall bring them out of the sides of the earth and show mercy unto them. For I am merciful, saith the Lord Almighty. This is the Most High God talking about how he's going to gather everybody from, the sides of the earth, from the four corners of the earth, bring everybody together. You understand? In the midst of that, show mercy on us. You understand? Mercy was shown on me. And there's brothers in the UK that got mercy shown on them. You know why? Because the ISUPK is here in Las Vegas and the ISUPK is there in the UK, and I should have been dead. I was given mercy that I don't even deserve. You understand? For the things that I have done before I learned about the ISUPK. But the Most High God is merciful. It gave me mercy. Barakatah Yahweh Yahweh Shai. You understand? I can't even be thankful enough. The only thing I know to do is make sure that I serve the Most High God to the best way possible and be obedient to him, and to help bring my brothers and sisters out of the world and come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments. That's the only way I even know to give thanks for the mercy that I don't even deserve. You understand? Verse 32, embrace thy children until I come and show mercy unto them. For my wells run over, and my grace shall not fail. And I'm telling you, the Most High God is a wonderful, powerful, just amazing God. Verse 33, I, Esdras, received a charge of the Lord upon the Mount Oreb, that I should go unto Israel. But when I came unto them, they set me at naught and despised the commandment of the Lord. Here we go again, man. Hard-headed ass Israel. You understand? First and foremost, Esdras was given charge by the Most High God. And the people still, just like all time, didn't want to listen to him. You understand? Verse 34, and therefore I say unto you, O ye heathen, that fear and understand, look for your shepherd. He shall give you everlasting rest, for he is nigh at hand, that shall come in the end of the world. Be ready to the reward of the kingdom, for the everlasting light shall shine upon you forevermore. Flee the shadow of this world. Receive the joyfulness of your glory. I testify my Savior openly. You understand? Esdras, spoke to the heathen. He said, those that hear and understand, look for your shepherd. He shall give you everlasting rest, for he is nigh at hand, that shall come in the end of the world. Now, that heathen that he's referring to, he's actually not referring to the people outside of Israel. Do you know who he's talking to? He's talking to the Israelites. You understand? He's calling them heathens because they're acting like, what are they acting like? Heathens. You understand? He's calling them heathens because they're acting like heathens. How are they acting like heathens? They doing the things that the other nations do. Worshiping false gods, putting any nasty thing in their mouth. Homosexuality, adultery, being lawless and evil in the sight of the Most High God. You understand? So he's speaking to them, hey, heathens. He said, heathens that hear and understand. For those of you heathens that can hear this, that can listen and understand, look for your shepherd. He shall give you everlasting rest. Your shepherd is the Most High God. He will give you an everlasting rest. Understand that. For he is nigh at hand, and that shall come in the end of the world. You understand? Be ready to the reward of the kingdom, for the everlasting light shall shine upon you forevermore. You understand? We're going to be in that glory forever in the kingdom. Flee the shadow of this world. Man, come out of the world. Quit thinking that you can hide within that shadow of the world where, you can be like Adam and Eve and put on, those fig trees, the fig tree leaves and be like everybody else. You understand? Come out of that culture. Come out of that way. Come stand in the light and steadfast in that light. You understand? Shine. Receive the joyfulness of your glory. Your glory is the fact that the Most High God loves you, is merciful on you, sees favor upon you. You understand? I testify my Savior openly. I openly say that my Savior is the Most High God. You understand? Verse 37, oh, receive the gift that is given you and be glad, giving thanks unto him that hath called you to the heavenly kingdom. Verse 38, arise up and stand. Behold, the number of those that be sealed in the feast of the Lord, which are departed from the shadow of the world and have received glorious garments of the Lord. You understand? Glorious clothing. It's like those glorious garments of the Lord is what we dress ourselves with in the ISUPK, and that's metaphorically and also literally. You understand? We have glory. You see our brothers and sisters on, during the high holy days with our fringes and our garments and our war bands, you understand? In our girdles and whatnot. And then also, of course, because we dress ourselves in the armor of the Most High God, because we live and walk the law, statutes, and commandments. You understand? And you know that we departed from that shadow of the world, because no longer are we smoking weed. No longer are we smoking cigarettes. You understand what I'm doing? Any types of drugs, selling drugs. You understand? Our sisters aren't on stripper poles. We're not doing worldly things. You understand? We're doing things that the Most High God asked us to do, right? Verse 40, take thy number, O Sion, and shut up those of thine that are clothed in white, which had fulfilled the law of the Lord, right? Now, I do got a precept already set up and ready to be read for this one. Give me 1 second. So lucky. Second is just 240. Oh, I guess I gotta go to my notes. So lucky. Matthew 5 and 17. Duh. Hold on. So lucky, y'all. Now, this is a direct precept for Matthew 5 and 17. Now, peep this. It says, we're still in 2nd Ezra chapter 2, verse 40. Take thy number, O Sion, and shut up those of thine that are clothed in white, which have fulfilled the law of the Lord. You understand? Only those that fulfill, keyword being fulfill, the law of the Lord. Christians love to try to say that the law is done and over with Christ, right? But now we're going to read something that Christ says in the book of Matthew chapter 5, verse 17, which reads, think not that I am come to destroy the law or the prophets. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. And there's some goofy ass Christians and even fake Israelite camps who sit there and try to say that, oh, see, the law is done with because Christ fulfilled the law. When you go back and read 2nd Ezra 2 and 40, it says at the left, it says, and shut up those of thine that are clothed in white, which have fulfilled the law of the Lord, which have fulfilled the law, which basically walked the walk of Christ, who became perfect. That is that metaphor for being clothed in white. They have no blemishes on their garment. You understand? And I believe that precept can be found in Revelations. We're not going to pull that one. So like, now we're gonna move on to verse 41. The number of thy children whom thou longest for is fulfilled. Beseech the power of the Lord, that thy people which have been called from the beginning may be hallowed. Verse 42, I, Ezra, saw upon the Mount Sion a great people, whom I could not number, and they all praise the Lord with songs. Man, it's saying that there's going to be many of us, a great multitude of us, that it can't even be numbered. The number is so great, you can't even count that high of how many people will be, how many of us, not people, but how many of the Israelites will be praising the Most High God with songs. Verse 43, and in the midst of them, there was a young man of a high stature, taller than all the rest, and upon every one of their heads he set crowns, and was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly. Do you think you know who he's talking about? No? You want me to tell you who that is? Who that man is of great stature? Man, that's Christ. That's Christ right there. Putting crowns on everybody. You understand? Setting upon their heads, he set crowns. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Is that the Bible isn't even complete without the Apocrypha books, which were removed by the Roman Catholic Church and also the I'm probably gonna butcher the name. I think it's pronounced Presbyterian Church. They both had a hand on removing these books. You understand? Verse 44. So I asked the angel and said, "Sir, what are these?" But before we go on, just understand the fact that even Ezra saw a vision of Christ. All the way in the Old Testament, Christ is actually brought up and prophesied and spoken about several times throughout the Old Testament. Because the Apocrypha is a part of the Old Testament, mind you. You understand? Ezra saw him and saw him setting crowns on us for those that deserve that crown of life. You understand? Moving on. So verse 44, so I asked the angel and said, "Sir, what are these?" Verse 45, he answered and said unto me, "These be they that have put off the mortal clothing and put on the immortal and have confessed the name of God. Now are they crowned and receive palms." So these are the brothers who never dropped their sword in the ISUPK. You understand? That's who the angel is referring to. So when you come into the ISUPK, you remove mortal clothing to put on immortal clothing. Because what you begin to do, the culture that you begin to live in the ISUPK makes you just that, immortal. Because we will know everlasting life. You understand? We will be on this earth to reign on this earth forever. You understand? Verse 46, then said I unto the angel, "What young person is it that crowneth them and giveth them palms in their hands?" Verse 47, so he answered and said unto me, "It is the Son of God." Young man, who is the Son of God? Do you know? You don't know who the Son of God is? Ain't no thing. This is why you sit in class. The Son of God is Yahweh Shah Mashiach. That's Christ. You understand? Hey, Most High Christ. Because you know what? You understand, but did you know that there's a lot of grown-ups out there who call themselves Christians, who claim to be followers of Christ, but don't realize that? Most High Christ. You understand? Because mind you, what they don't understand is that he is the Son of God and that Christ is not God. Yahweh Shai Mashiach is not God. You understand? So he answered and said unto me, "It is the Son of God, whom they have confessed in the world." Then began I greatly to commend them that stood so stiffly for the name of the Lord. Again, this is speaking about the ISUPK, because ain't nobody else is doing, even trying to be like Christ, except for the brothers in the ISUPK. Verse 48, then the angel said unto me, "Go thy way and tell my people what manner of things and how great wonders of the Lord thy God that thou hast seen." And mind you, like I said, we're going to read about, I think it's 4 or 5 chapters out of 2nd Esdras. You understand? And you're going to really start to see a lot of the brotherhood with these 4 or 5, it might be even 6 chapters. You understand? But I'm pretty I think it's 5. So I like it. We'll find out on the next episode. But next week, next Tuesday, we'll pick back up on chapter 3. And then you'll see, the things that Ezra is really asking of the angel from his visions to be explained to him. You understand? But one real big thing that y'all should take from today's class, what we read in the second chapter of Second Esdras, is, the brotherhood that we were told to have, but also we just saw Christ in the Old Testament, plain as day. That is the Son of God putting crowns on the brothers who put off the mortal clothing and put on immortal clothing. I don't know how you can get any more plain than that. You understand? But mind you as well, like I said, next week, we're going to continue on chapter 3 and get some more of this brotherhood so that y'all can get, I can feed y'all more examples of how to be brotherly, how to be sisterly, the small things that you should be doing to show that you do have brotherhood, that you do have sisterhood. And mind you, you ain't gonna be showing it to me, but it's to the Most High God. And it all starts with, just like what we read in the book of Matthew, chapter 24, verse 30, 36 to 40. You understand? Was that the greatest commandment is that we love the Most High God, with our mind, body, and soul first. But the second greatest commandment is like unto the first, that we love our neighbor or our brother and sister, our people, like we love ourselves. You understand? And with that, Shalom Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai Barakathum to all the brothers. Shalom Yahweh Shamar Alatham Ba'Hashem Yahweh Shai to all the sisters. This is the ISUPK, started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. I'm Precinct Officer 50 on Rock. And with that, class dismissed.